Good morning. Welcome back to the Red Mic. Thanks for being here. These Red Mic messages are leadership and life lessons I picked up mainly from 25 years as a public servant, 16 years as a youth football coach, and 10 years as a mediocre athlete with far more heart than actual physical ability. Today's Red Mic message: the fear of public speaking, how to get better, all of it. Um, According to a survey by the National Institute of Mental Health, 75% of people would rather die than speak in public. And it doesn't matter whether it's an audience of one or 100. And when you're in a leadership role, especially when you're in a leadership role, you're going to have to do it at some point, whether it's a small team, whether it's a conference, whatever it is. And that's a lot of pressure. And yeah, it can be daunting, especially if you're in that 75%. Me, I just view it as a way to go and show off. I I've never been afraid of public speaking, even as a little kid. But you know, the studies show upwards of 75% of people would rather die than talk in public. So people don't want to go in there and be embarrassed. They don't want to say the wrong thing. They don't want to bore people. They don't want to be the quintessential boring executive reading every word off of a slide. They don't want to say the wrong thing. They don't want to be like Ben Stein. In 1930, the Republican controlled House of Representatives in an effort to alleviate effects of the anyone anyone the Great Depression. You remember that from Ferris Bueller's Day Off, right? Ben Stein, the great Ben Stein. Thing that's funny about that, little aside, Ben Stein didn't have a script. He did all that from memory. Uh, anyway, but you don't want to be that guy, right? You want to go in, you want to command the room, you want to own the room, like Joey Tribbiani would have said. So look out for these things that can sink you as a public speaker because, again, it's not just the words. The words can be fantastic, but if your delivery is bad, no one's going to remember a thing you said. They're just going to remember how poorly you said it. So go in, make that connection. Most public speakers fail because nerves take over instead of having emotional discipline. They're fidgety. They, flip their notes around, stuff like that. They ignore their audience. They focus on the words. They focus on their PowerPoint. If you've been in been in an event where all they're doing is reading the words off the PowerPoint and you just want to die because you're so bored. Yeah, been there. Or you go to a thing and you're listening to them talk and you're like, well, I know this better than they do. I could get up there and do this speech off the top of my head. Well, don't do that. Don't try to wing it. The best speakers rehearse. Okay? Remember that. Don't wing it. Get up there and be prepared. Go through your notes. Make sure you understand every word in it. And again, don't just read everything and don't wing it. Know what you're doing before you walk in the door. Don't rely on your slides. Just just don't. You need to rely on stories. You need to rely on memories. You need to rely on little anecdotes and eye contact and authenticity. Don't just read. That's boring. It's dull. You're going to lose your audience. In your speech, you got to have a hook. You got to have an inspiration. You got to have some sort of takeaway. Otherwise, it's just noise. It's just words. If you don't connect, if you don't use body language and energy to lean in, to get people excited, that's going to set the tone before you say a word, and immediately people are going to discount you. So you want to own the room, calm your nerves. That's what people are going to notice the first thing. Get feedback while you're doing it. Interact. Don't just talk. Make sure it's a give and take. Prepare like your credibility depends on it, because really it does. Speak with authenticity. Build those connections. Don't just read your slides. And end with impact. Again, give them something to walk away talking about. Words fade, but emotions last. So make them feel emotions, whether it's fear or laughter or joy or whatever it is. Give them a reason to share your message before you walk on. A leader's communications, well, they depend on whether you're followed or forgotten. Titles don't make the leaders, influence does. And how you speak to that group, how you communicate, that's where the influence is going to start. That's today's Red Mike message. Hope you found it interesting or helpful. I hope you use some of these things in your real life. I appreciate you being here. Happy Wednesday. We've made it halfway. 2 more days to go after today. I love you guys. I'll see you again tomorrow. Don't forget, life is short. Drink the bourbon.